talk about symbol table, which is a little lesser known thing in Apex. But before we go ahead, let's do some quick intros. Akshat is my co-presenter. Akshat, why don't you give a brief intro about yourself?
So thank you. I am Akshat Surana and I am currently working as a trainee consultant at Concretio. And today we are going to talk about harnessing Apex class members as well as like the methods and the variables. So over to you.
All right. So before we go ahead, as it's popularly said, we have to give credit where it is due. So I would like to go to this LinkedIn post by Mr. Logesh. He is a technical consultant at Salesforce. They nearly a month ago created Apex Pulse library, which is basically about real-time health monitoring of Apex classes, performance analytics, an intuitive Apex scan dashboard. A lot of interesting things, and also kudos to Gotham, who is a co-author of this library. Good thing is it is available on App Exchange, but it is also available on GitHub, which gave us an opportunity to take a peek into the code. And what we did is we started discussing like how we can take it forward, what Apex Pulse is doing, what are the internals. So then we looped in Akshat. Akshat did some research. He figured out how symbol table and different things are working. And then we thought it will be a good idea to share all of that information with you with some live demos and other things. So Akshat, over to you. Why don't you drive us
Yeah.
through what you have researched? So I'm just
So yeah.
adding your screen to the stage. All right, all
Okay.
good.
Yeah. So, hi guys. Today we are going to talk about how we can harness the class artifacts. We'll be talking about how we can possibly optimize our variables and methods usage in an Apex class. So let's get started. So this is the agenda for today. First of all, we would be discussing what is Apex Pulse and how it is used to identify the various variables as well as the methods which are present in an Apex class and how it helps us to optimize our code. Next up, we are going to talk about symbol table, how symbol table is getting us data and how we can make the best use out of it. Like what are the best things which we can imbibe from it, and how we are able to optimize our code and like reduce the memory storage as well as go through obfuscated code, etc. And then we'll be talking about why it matters to us so much, and then we'll be summarizing it with your questions. So let's talk more about it. So yeah, basically, Apex Pulse was an app exchange app which was created by the Salesforce Labs. And now let us have a walkthrough how Apex Pulse looks like. So like this is the home tab for the Apex Pulse, and where you can get to the various steps how we can perform an health scan for an Apex class. So when you go through this Apex Health Scan tab, you find all your Apex classes listed here. So you can select either all the classes or you can go through any specific class for which you require the health scan. So you can just quickly select a class and hit on submit, and it will generate a report. So let me show you a report which is already created from our end. So before going through this health report, let me show you how the class looks like. So this is the Apex class, student info handler. Here I have created an inner class named student, which has two variables, s name as well as the roll number for that student. As you can see, I have also created a constructor here where I am creating an instance of the student class as well as I am just quickly initializing the values for the student name as well as the roll number using these two methods, which is get full name and get roll number. And here in the full name, I also have two variables, first name and last name, which I am using to return the value for the full name. So now let us check out how the Apex Pulse report looks like. So as you can see here in this case, we have the methods present where I get the get full name as well as the get roll number. And since I am using both of these methods here on line number 10 and 11, These are shown as methods used. And now when I head on to variables, I have this instance S1 of the student class, as well as I have two variables, first name and last name, which I used to create the full name. And as you can see, I have used first name and last name within that function to get full name. So it shows up as an used variable, whereas S1, which is the instance of the student class, is unused because we are not referencing it anywhere. So now let us check that how we are calculating the health out of this. So basically we have two methods present here and both of these are used. And also we have three variables out of which two are used. So in total we have five entities and out of which four are being used. So that's why we are getting the health percentage as 80 here. So moving further, this was an overview about the Apex Pulse app, like how it works or how it operates. And here we are able to like deduce like which all methods were present and which were being used. So in case if any variable or method is being unused, then we can probably optimize our code to use that variable, because and if it is unused, maybe probably we can remove it from our code as well. So let's talk about it further. Now how most of this is working, how Apex Pulse is working, and how we are getting these variables or these methods. Are we performing some kind of analysis on the Apex class? So let us dig more about it. So this all of these things are being done via symbol table. And basically symbol table is something which performs an lexical as well as the semantic analysis, and then brings out all these variables methods which are being used inside, like all of these are specialized tokens which are being used in our Apex class, and then it organizes all of these things into a certain sequence, which is the symbol table. It is actually a very old concept which is being used since the compiler designing times, which we are referring to and which can be used. Now let us see how what more we have in symbol table. Now, do you think that there is a symbol table specifically used in Salesforce? So the answer is yes. We have a specific symbol table for Apex classes which is also present, which has all of these values which we can get to get our data. Now let us check how it looks like. So like this is what an overview looks like. You can obtain this symbol table in Salesforce by querying onto the Apex class or the Apex class member object. Now, as you can see, this is the record for Apex class member object, where you can get various things in the symbol table, like the constructors, external references, inner classes, and going forward, we have obviously the methods as well as the variables, as you just saw right now. So this is what the symbol table offers, and this is what was being used in Apex Pulse to create like the analysis or generating the report. Now let us quickly head on to the demo and check what the Apex Pulse symbol table, which is being used in Apex Pulse, is looking like. So as you can see, I'm using the workbench and I'm querying the symbol table here from the Apex class member object. Now, as you can see, I get all these records where I have this student info handler class as well as my other classes present in the org. Now, as you can see, this is my class name, student info handler, where I have the symbol table. And as we had discussed earlier, we had those variables like the first name as well as the last name here on line number 18 and 19. As you can see, these variables are present here. And now I can also find the location where it has been instantiated, and I can also find the references where it is being used. So as you can see, it has a reference on line number 20 and it is declared on line number 18. So like here is the reference where the first name is being referenced on line number 20, and here is the initialization. Going forward, we also have other things like in case of S1, we did not have any reference. So as you can see, the reference folder is empty, and that's why it was showing up as an unused variable. Going forward, we also similarly have these methods where we have other informations like the annotations as well as the modifiers or the parameters which we are using for that method, and other things which like the symbol table has to offer. So, and you must be wondering that also we had here these two variables like the S name as well as the roll number, which were a part of the inner class. So let us check it out where they reside. As you can check that here we have the inner classes where we have student, and when I get into it, I can probably find them in the variables or the properties section. So here in this case where they are directly referenced inside the inner class, they show up as the property of that class. As you can see, we also have these locations mentioned here, similar to what we just saw right now for the student info handler class. So this was basically about the symbol table. Now let us check what symbol table has for us, which we can make use of. So now the point arises is that why you should care. Like what makes it so special or what makes it useful as a developer to make you use it out of the same. So now I'm listing out the points which we would be discussing in details further. First of all, we'd be talking about how we can like remove or like optimize our class by removing the redundant variables as well as the methods which are creating performance bottlenecks. As well as we'll be navigating through complex encapsulation logics which are imbibed inside like the nested classes which are put up inside the main class which we are using. And then we would be comparing the older entities of one class to another one so that we can track all the changes which we are making right now. Now, as you we have just discussed that in the Apex Pulse, we were getting all those methods as well as the variables which were being left unused. So this is easily how we can make use of this, as well as we are not just restricted to all of these things. Uh, as we had just discussed, we are getting other properties as well as other things as well in the symbol table. Like if I have any constructor, then I'd get the constructor as well. So out of this, and like if I'm using any kind of external library, I'd also get that. So if we are getting all of these things, we can make a smart use of all of these things. Like we do not have to go through all of the cumbersome code and like all the flux of the logic which is written in the Apex class, and probably we can directly jump on to our methods and variables which are utilizing memory in our Apex class. So this will help us directly navigate and optimize our Apex class better. Going on to the next point, now let us check how we can navigate through complex encapsulation logics. We would be talking more about it by taking complex examples like the examples of an Apex class. So first of all, it is used to like group related things inside, like localizing these variables, and which can be used to probably declutter your main class. So let us check how this should go. So to demonstrate this, I have taken the example of an shadowing class. As you can see that here I have a myString variable which is declared on the shadowing class level, and as well as I have overridden this myString variable on the method level as well, where I'm just putting and assigning its value as an inner variable here. So this scope is restrained to this method, whereas I'm taking this scope as the class level method. Now as you can see in the my method too, I may probably make use of this variable here, but it is not optimum because it is allocating memory on the class level. So what I can probably do is that once I have seen all of these values via my Apex Pulse or like symbol table, then I can probably diagnose that this is my class level variable and I'm probably not using in my method one. So what I can do is probably comment this one out and add my own local variable here on the local str level, and then probably make use of this. So when I check out the symbol table here for this, let us check out. So as you can see that this is my shadowing class, and now when I have removed and put it inside a variable, both of these things will show up in my variables. And now I can clearly deduce that if I'm referencing it somewhere and where it is being like declared here. And also in the earlier instance, like here. Okay, so here in the properties tag, I had this myString method which was declared on the class level, as well as I had this variable inside my variables because I have declared it inside my method also. So I have the same variable name at two places. And when I was reading this code, this is a very simple example. But in case we have a very elongated code, which is like getting over 1,000 line of code, that's a point where it might be possible that I oversee those things where I have like just overridden a particular variable. So this is where symbol table comes in to rescue, and it can probably help us to like diagnose these things that okay, I have the same variable name being used, which is probably have no work here. So I can probably declutter my class from here on the proper class property level, and I can just hyper localize it inside my method or any other place I like. So this was the use about how we can declutter the code using it. Now, as we have discussed in this only, we can also probably optimize the inherited code where we are making sense, how we are overriding which all we need to override, or if we don't even need to override, then we can possibly use a local string method. As well as one more thing that it helps us go through obfuscated code. Basically, when the code is quite obfuscated and the variable names are not very relevant, or possibly you as a developer are going through the code like for the first time, then what we can do is like, let me show you by an example. Like here I have a public class A. Now, as you can see, it is easy to deduce from here that we are taking a endpoint URL where we are just hitting this API and getting the open weather data for that day. But here, if I have any other case, like in case where I did not knew uh, what C was working for, like if I hadn't named it request and I'm just using it as an obfuscated code, where I have just used the variables names as A, B, C, and D. So it becomes a very difficult and cumbersome task to find out the references where these are being used. So now let us just check out how we can make this task easier by using the symbol table. So if we head on to the symbol table for this class, as you can see here, it becomes a difficult, challenging task for me to find like if out of B, C, D, and E, which are variables are being referenced or even are being used, and which are just left to be unused. So I think that this would be a question for our audience also, if they can quickly find out here which all values are being left unused. So now let us just head on to the answer, like which all values are being used or are being left unused here.
Yeah, so
As you
Akshat,
can
in
see,
the meantime, audience, maybe you can drop comments here just for fun of
yeah,
quizzing it thing. But yeah, over to you, Akshat.
yeah. So like these are the variables. Earlier, what I had need to do is that I had to read out throughout the code and like find out all the instances whether a variable was being used or not. But here, with the help of symbol table, what I am getting is like a neat and clean and an organized way where I can see all my variables listed, like from B to E. And now I can just quickly go through the references where I can find that okay, it has been referenced on line number 6. Similarly, if I found it for the C and E variable, you can see that the references are missing here. Why? Because both of these variables are not being used anywhere. Like if I take the example specifically for E, as you can see that it has been declared on line number 9 and it is being referenced nowhere. So As you can see here, I have, rather than like initializing e and putting this http response inside that, I haven't done it, so e is being left unused here. So similarly, I can just quickly go through all of these variables and quickly find out like where are they being referenced, or like where are they being declared. So this makes my task as a developer much more easier. So by just avoiding going throughout the code and just navigating through using the symbol table. Now let us check further about it. Okay, so the last point which we are going to come up with is that we are able to track our changes throughout. Remember that I earlier told you that we are able to retrieve this symbol table from the Apex class as well as the Apex class member object. So the difference between both of these were that Apex class member was basically giving me a specific version of that class. So let us check how we can find out these versions. As you know that earlier in this demo I had like made a few changes in the shadowing class, where earlier I had this my string variable on the class level, and then I put it inside the my method too. So basically what we did was we created two versions of the same class after saving that. So yeah, like as you can see, both of these have this similar content entity id, like here as well as here. Why? Because the Apex class remains the same, but still we get two instances in the Apex class member object. These two records demonstrate the two different states of this Apex class at like the given point of time where we had saved it. So basically, Apex class member acts as a checkpoint, you can say, for saving our classes and how they looked earlier. So from here, when I open both of these symbol table, I'm easily able to navigate that, okay, my property, my string here was present on the class level. And then in the next part, I did not just remove that property. I also added a local string variable inside the a scope of the my method too. So basically it helps us to compare two versions and also get the changes which we are tracking. So like if we have a good number of files which we are working on, so we can quickly compare the two versions of that class to check if we are able to optimize that class, or if we are able to eliminate all those redundant variables as well as the methods as well. So these were a few things which makes symbol table very useful for us. Now we are going to quickly sum it up what we have just talked right now. So basically we navigated through all the obfuscated code where the code was not looking relevant. Still we were able to figure out how the instances of the class variables or methods were being made across an Apex class. Then we were also able to quickly minimize the variable scope, where earlier we had a variable which was declared on class level, but then we shifted on to the method too and localized it inside itself. Then we also eliminated the redundant variables as well as the methods, which was done by Apex Pulse as well. So like we were able to figure out which all variables or methods were being left unused, and we quickly were able to make a decision whether we need to either remove them or use them anywhere else. And then at last, this also in turn helped us to reduce the complexity and the nesting logics of our class, because now we are modularizing our code better. So these were all the things about the Apex Pulse as well as the symbol table. So over to you, sir.
All right. So thanks a lot, Akshat. It's a really wonderful demo. And to everyone who is watching this video, you can drop your queries in comments, or you can visit our website or social media handles wherever we'll post the video. Idea here is open source is always fun, and I'm thankful that the team who authored this project, they have posted it on GitHub. So that gives you an opportunity, possibly after seeing this video, to extend it, enhance it based on your own creativity, your business needs. So looking forward to all that action, and looking forward to your comments. Thanks again, Akshat. Thank you everyone for
Yeah.
watching.
Thank you, everyone.